Ekapa, but of course you are tuned into channel 263 where we're going to keep you varam. Yes, and we have the beautiful Vuyo But do follow us on our social medias, joining the conversation. It is a Monday and we have nothing but the best for you from in and around Cape Town. Who do we have in the studio today, Vuyo?
Well, we do have the founder of Ituba Access, Unokulunga Jwaka, who is dedicated to changing the lives of many young South Africans and giving them access to graduation and work opportunities and so much more. So please, ladies and gents, let's put our hands together. Hello, darling.
Hello.
How are you?
I am awesome. I'm loving the energy.
Thank you so much
Thank
for joining
you.
us. It definitely does work.
They can hear you perfectly at home, darling. All you have to do is just enjoy and sit back and let's just have a chat. Tell us about Ituba Access Matters. What is this beautiful organization all about?
So thank you so much for having me. Ituba Access Matters is really a youth-led organization that is for future leaders. Basically what we do is we find young people in rural areas, in townships, connect them to opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have accessed, and that's our mission.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I know it's quite a struggle starting a company. Let it be an NGO, let it be whatever type of company that you're starting. I would love to know your challenges, both triumphs and challenges. What have they been in starting Ituba Access?
That is so true. And there's this thing of, I think the idea of starting a business in this country is very mystified. And from registering all the way to, you know, finding the funding, not knowing who and who to contact. And for me, when I started, I thought, look, I've been working in youth development matters for 6 years. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So this business thing, I'll be okay. Then I got in.
It's a
Things just got so real, I don't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think some of the challenges were when you work in a company, you have this support system, you know, there's someone who does marketing, there's someone who does all these things, and suddenly you're on your own and you have to do all these things. So, and also the second thing I struggled with was establishing myself as a brand, as Ituba Access Matters. I found that it was easier for me to sell myself with the big brands such as Engine Petroleum, you know, your PwCs and so forth, whom I had worked with. But when I had to say I'm Ituba, people were like, okay, but what are you bringing to the table? So it's been a really challenging journey, but I think for me, the driver has kept me going every single day, because I'm really all about transformation, diversity, and really giving a voice to not just young people, but also people with disabilities in this country and connecting them to opportunities.
Yeah, and Nokulunga, I know that you're quite highly qualified, if I may put it that way, and have a couple of qualifications under your name. What do you think? How has that also helped you into kind of establishing the business and staying in business? How has that your education background, if I may say, how has that helped you?
It's helped quite significantly, but I always say to young people, go out, get some work experience first. It's good enough you have an idea, it's great, but try and get some work experience so that you come back and, you know, you've learned a little bit of what mistakes to make and what not to make and so forth. So for me, my background in psychology has helped in the sense of, you know, I can access certain spaces like disability spaces and have a voice in those spaces. I am still developing on the business side, which is why I've started my MBA now with Strayer University, so that I can learn a bit more about business. What does it actually mean to run a social enterprise, especially in South Africa's economy? Because honestly, business is not as glamorous as we make it sound to be on social media.
Sissy, I want to know, more about Ituba Access. What is it and what does it do for young people?
All right, so we've got 3 divisions in Ituba Access Matters. The first division is high school and schools of skills. What we basically do is we go out to high schools and school of skills and we give them career guidance and career mapping. So there's this whole thing of you get to grade 9 and you suddenly have to choose subjects, and you only know what your teachers know and what your friends know and what your family knows. And there's a great need to try and, you know, connect young people to information as quickly as possible. So we do that with high schools. With universities, it's more psychosocial support, you know. And by psychosocial support, I mean, yes, you have these A's, but how do we keep you sane while you're in university in order to finish the qualification?
Oh, wow.
How do we prepare you for the working world? Because yes, I've got great marks, but you get to the working world and you have to do filing. You know, those are kind of challenges that young people are hardly prepared for. So we take them through that journey, as well as assisting them to find jobs. Where do you look? Where do you apply? How do you prepare for an interview? How do you dress? What to say, what not to say, those kind of things. And then we also, with the third division, is the employer division. So right here we are saying to employers, look, there's these great young people who really, really need your support. What can you do to support them? Be it funding, be it, you know, mentoring and coaching, and then ultimately job placements.
Yeah.
Job placement is also another key, and another big driver that we push with corporates is really transformation. You know, how many people in our organizations are disabled, for example? And so just talking about physical disabilities, not even other disabilities that cannot be seen. And we're saying, give these opportunities to persons with disabilities beyond just transforming on a race and a gender level.
Yeah, I think it's so beautiful
That
that
is-
it's a holistic and kind of
Yes.
start with them in high school until they get to the working world. How do you identify the schools or the high schools or universities or the employers that you kind of work with in this organization? Is there specific criteria that you look for into saying that they're going to be part of it access?
Yes, at the moment we're focusing really on township schools. We're focusing on rural schools. So we're running projects with schools here in Cape Town, as well as universities and colleges in the Eastern Cape. We are looking to expand in KwaZulu-Natal next year. We are looking to expand eventually in Gauteng. But ultimately, the goal for Ituba is to expand across Africa. In every single rural area in Africa, we want to have a footprint there and really get young people into corporate and to be self-empowered, yeah.
It's definitely going to
nice.
happen. I can already see
No,
it
yeah, yeah.
everywhere in Africa.
All right, so Yazi, okay, so you did say that you have different divisions within Ituba Access Matters. Now, with those different, maybe you can, even if you give us two of those divisions, what exactly do they do for the youth, and what skills get transferred to the youth?
It's mainly self-development, identifying yourself before you can, you know, proceed and try and be identified by employers and so forth. Secondly, it's career knowledge, it's opportunity access. Just basically, if for example, I'll give you an example with the schools of skills. They don't necessarily go up to matric, for example, but they would go through a 4-year program of hair care, of bricklaying and so forth. So in such cases, how do we make sure that those people get an opportunity at the end of the day? So entrepreneurship skills and so forth, and connecting them to employers.
And you do work with tertiary students as well, do you?
Yes.
Now, interesting enough, because I mean, we're both tertiary students, and you know, we've heard a lot that, you know, once you moved into the workplace, as you were saying earlier on, that maybe people get difficulty in presenting and whatever. How do you guys then help, you know, such students from tertiary, specifically rural people who come from rural areas, in order for them to be able to you know, transfer
Confidence as well, I
Yes.
guess. You know, how they come
Yes.
across to the working world, and it's a big giant. That
What,
is.
so how exactly do you work
Yeah.
with them?
It is so big. What we do is we run long-term, medium to long-term programs with them, and by that I mean we don't just meet with you today and say here's an interview tomorrow, but we really, before we even present a learner to an employer, we always make sure that we've gone through the program with them. For example, we've, you know, helped you identify what are your strengths, you know, what are some of the areas that you'd like to develop and so forth.
Okay, under 40
Before-
seconds.
yeah.
Where we can
Social media.
Yes.
Social media is a very big role player in society.